Okay, it looks like it's 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I like to start off with introductions, so if you want to just say your name and what you do with WordPress really quick, we'll start over here. Wow. We'll put you on the spot.
Because I'm Nick and I don't do anything with WordPress. Because I'm like a total new and I'm here to see what I can pick up.
Awesome.
But I do represent creative teams with a venture capital background. We're looking for programmers also generate WordPress to come forward if you're here and everybody else in the talk.
We'll have a break also, so you can talk with. There's usually a lot of developers.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, Mary Ann Epstein, I help a lot of developers.
My name is Marcus, and I do product development stuff.
Oh, nice. Gamma, yeah, I remember you from email. nice to see you again.
My name is Rochelle. I'm a graphic designer and a writer, and I would like to do I do web design, and I'd like to do more with WordPress.
Awesome.
I'm Elizabeth, and I guess I kind of code and stuff, so I'm just getting started. I see some contacts.
Awesome. Bob.
Yeah, I'm Bob. I market web services to lawyers.
Very good.
I'm Jason. I'm a WordPress web developer.
Hi, I'm Candace. I'm learning a newbie to WordPress and just learning to utilize the website more.
I'm Tanis. I have a little agency and we do content management based systems in WordPress and Joomla and .NET and whatever they want.
Whatever they want, that's what they get.
Cool. My name is Dylan Dow. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love to work with everybody because my passion is just launching companies.
Oh, nice.
Stan Scott, I'm a copywriter and got several blogs, a couple of websites. But my business is copy.
Very nice.
I'm Diane Carbo and I'm a registered nurse that has several sites in New Hampshire, Wyoming.
Donahue. I'm a gerontologist. I work with seniors and building a membership site for caregivers, people that take care of their family that has Alzheimer's, and looking to learn more about WordPress.
I'm Sarah, and I'm a designer, and I'm just building my first WordPress site now, but I have worked with other CMS like Expression Engine, so.
Very cool.
I'm Eric, and I'm with whatsforwork.com, and we're a career management site for women, and so we have WordPress as part of our content strategy, and just looking to learn a little bit more about some of the low-level details of WordPress.
Awesome.
My name is Kim, and I'm just basically here to learn more about WordPress. I'm in the fitness industry, and we're launching a couple of projects, and we're kind of looking at WordPress to utilize WordPress.
I'm David. I work at a local nonprofit. I'm a PHP coder, plus I work with everything else that's involved in WordPress, CSS, JavaScript.
I'm on. We have a couple of WordPress site at work, so I'm here to learn what other people are doing.
Cool.
I'm Kelly. I'm a marketing guy. I've got 3 web properties I take care of. One we've launched in WordPress and migrating the other 2 there. So just here to work.
I'm Ben. I'm an internet marketer. I do consulting and advising for startups and larger businesses and e-commerce. And I'm just here to kind of brush up my knowledge on WordPress and stuff.
Awesome.
My name is Alex, designer. Just getting as much info as I can on WordPress.
My name is Michael, and I work at Kustner as a web developer.
My name is also Michael, and I'm also here just to learn about WordPress and get as much knowledge and tips as I can. Glad to be here.
I'm Ryan. I work with Suzette and Michael, and yeah.
I'm Pam, and I work with everyone at Kustner as well, and I'm the office manager.
Very nice. Lucy.
Oh,
You
I'm Lucy. I'm Lucy. I have a site called Web Training Wheels, and I teach people how to use WordPress and also do a little bit of development as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. That's awesome. I'm going to talk about Jetpack tonight. And if you haven't used Jetpack, then you're missing out on a lot of functionality. But I will show you this. What exactly is Jetpack? Jetpack is a powerful suite of add-on features to WordPress. It's built by the same people that built WordPress Automatic. And so they update it pretty frequently, and they're always adding new features to it. The features that are available in Jetpack used to only be available if you were a WordPress.com user. And the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is basically those people that are using WordPress.com to host their blog, and it is limited compared to having a self-hosted blog, which is what we focus on. So we focus on self-hosted WordPress sites. So this is a way that you can add a lot of the functionality that WordPress has built into WordPress.com on your own blog. So far there's been just over 2 million downloads of this plugin, so it's pretty popular. It requires at least WordPress 3.2, but it's compatible up to the latest version, which is 3.41. It's updated really frequently with a lot of new features added all the time. They just recently released version 1.6.1, and this added to the sharing bar Pinterest and Tumblr. Yeah, that's what they added. Pinterest and Tumblr is one of the things they recently added. To use Jetpack, you would download it from the repository, but you do need an account on WordPress.com. So if you don't have one, I would recommend that you have one just so that you can vote on plugins as well. Once you've downloaded the plugin, you'll connect to WordPress.com through your WordPress dashboard. And there's a big banner at the top that tells you how to do that. And there's actually 14 applications that can be activated or deactivated as needed. Also, if you look in the repository, if you see one feature but you don't want to install the whole big bloated package, you can usually find a plugin of just that feature. Like WordPress.com stats is something that used to be available on its own, but now it's only available through Jetpack. But I believe that there is a plugin that is just the stats component that you can plug in. If you have any questions during any time, feel free to yell out or raise your hand, and I'll try to help you with that. I'm going to go, yes?
Suzette, can you briefly explain again the difference between .com and .org?
Sure. .com is where you would go if you didn't know, if you were brand new, you didn't know about hosting your own website. Basically, they take all the guesswork out of it for you. So you can host your website there. There's themes that you can install, but you don't have the same flexibility that you would have as if you had your own self-hosted blog. .org is kind of the organization that helps to make, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but WordPress.org is the organization that helps to build WordPress itself for self-hosted.
Okay.
So the difference is subtle, but one is more like a third-party hosted solution versus having it on your own server or some server that you buy.
So in other words, through one of them you use their server?
Yes. Yeah, and it's free to do that. So it's a good place to start if you're brand new to WordPress. But
is that .com or .org?
.com.
.com, okay.
.com. You can sign up there for a free account.
Because that's what I'm doing, but I wasn't quite sure what's
Yeah, well, the thing is when you get into heavy customization, you'll find that it can be limiting because if you don't have FTP access to the server, there's a lot of different things that you don't have access to. So that's why people opt for the self-hosted blog on their own server.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's always a big question is .com versus .org.
Right.
The first application I'm going to go over is the WordPress.com stats application, and this is kind of the first thing that I started using with Jetpack. Before it was Jetpack, it was just WordPress.com stats. And if you're familiar with Google Analytics, this is kind of like Google Analytics, but in a smaller package. It's really good because it allows you to view statistics through the dashboard. You don't have to go log on to Google Analytics. You can just see your stats right through the dashboard. And it shows you information such as refers, top posts and pages, search engine terms, clicks, and subscriptions. We've done some kind of test against WordPress.com stats versus Google Analytics, and we found that Google Analytics might be a little bit more trustworthy than WordPress.com stats, but it is a really good resource, and it will give your users a really quick overview through the dashboards that have to be loaded. You just need to be connected to WordPress.com for this to work. Also, when you activate this, you may have noticed the admin bar at the top of the WordPress screen. There's sometimes a stats, and I don't have a picture of that, but there's like a little stats of the last 48 hours. So that's a little cool little extra feature that it gives you. You can also limit who is able to see your reports. You can limit it to editors, authors, or just administrators. So it does give you some of that built-in WordPress functionality. The one thing that's really important is that there's this smiley face. When you install WordPress.com stats, it installs this little smiley face. And that's cute and fun and all, but on a lot of sites it's not super professional. But there's actually a way that you can turn that off. You can either do it through CSS or right through the dashboard. There's an option to turn off the smiley face. And I think I have a screenshot of that to show you. Oh, this is what the stats will look like. It gives you some more stats below this as well, but it just gives you a graph of the different views. It's not quite as detailed as analytics, but it does give you a pretty good overview. Okay, and then let me just show you. If you did want to turn off the smiley face, you would go under Configure. On your dashboard, you'll see on the left side there will be Jetpack, and under that you'll be able to access all of these little cards for each application. So if you click on Configure, there's actually a thing that says Disable Smiley Face on there. The next thing, this is just recently added to Jetpack, and I really like it. It replaces the comments that are built into WordPress. It kind of works in tandem with it, because what it allows you to do, sorry about that. Hi! Come on in, welcome. So what the Jetpack comments allows you to do is, normally you have to put in an email and a name when you make a comment, depending on your settings. But what this does is it allows you to log on with either WordPress.com, Facebook, or Twitter. So you don't have to enter in all that information. There's different color schemes. If you go under settings, discussions, there's it tries to match the look of your site, the comment screen on the bottom. But this will allow you to choose like a dark theme, transparent, or light. It also gives you the ability at the bottom of the comments where it says leave a reply to subscribe or follow comments, which is kind of a cool feature. And it also gives you the ability, the default text that it leaves there is leave a reply, but you can change that to leave a reply for Dr. So-and-so or whatever you like. So that's kind of an extra feature that allows you to do. This is what the Jetpack comments forms look like. When you click in here, it'll just be this box when you first look at it, and this will be at the bottom of your poster page. And then when you click in here, these icons right here will show up. So you can log on with your WordPress account, Twitter, or Facebook. And then if you're already logged in with one of those, it will pre-populate the name and the email, which is pretty handy. Now, the good thing about this is I've tested it and it doesn't cross-post to Facebook or Twitter. So it's purely just to log in. Where you would access these settings would be under settings and then discussion. You'll notice this is where you can allow people to comment or not to comment. Sorry. Sorry about that. So if you go to settings and discussion, it will allow you to access follow the blog or follow comments, and that's an extra checkbox that it puts at the bottom of your comments form. And this is where you can change the grading text. Leave a reply is what it says by default. You can say, what are your thoughts, or something, but it allows you to easily change that. And this is where you would change the color scheme to light, dark, or transparent. And it works out pretty well. I've not had it mess up my theme or anything. Another thing that they recently added was subscriptions. And this is very valuable if you have a blog, because what it does is it allows you to easily allow people to subscribe to your blog. And what will happen is they can set how often they want to get updates, whether it's per post, daily or weekly, I think are the options. But they subscribe to your blog, and every time you make a post, they'll get emailed that post. Which is really handy because that was not a feature that was easy to come across before. It does have double opt-in, so the users have to confirm their subscription before it will actually show up. And the good thing about subscriptions through WordPress is that you can manage them all at subscribe.wordpress.com. So I have like 10 different blogs that I'm following, and it kind of allows you a place to read them all in one place. And you can also change the frequency at which you get those. And I think on this next screen, actually what the blog subscriptions widget does, it adds the widget, and then you could add this widget to your sidebar, and this is what it looks like here. But it does give you options to change the heading, the text, and then you can hide this if you don't want people to see that you only have one subscriber. You can hide that until you get a lot, and then you can turn it back on. So users must confirm, and then you can opt out of those at any time. So this is a screen of what it looks like when you're managing your subscriptions at WordPress.com. It will list out all the different blogs, and then the frequency, and then it will even say when you started following it. And then there is an easy way to read all of your blogs that way, but it will send you emails also. The carousel was something also that was a random thing they just recently added. And if you're familiar with using WordPress galleries where you insert a bunch of pictures and it makes the thumbnails for you, this will allow you to take those thumbnails and transform them into a slideshow. So before this, there's thousands of different gallery plugins that you could use. This one is really nice. I'll show you what it looks like. The only secret to this is that when you insert your gallery, the images have to be linked to a file. It gives you the option to link to a file or an attachment. And the other problem that is with this is that sometimes this can conflict with other galleries depending on what you have. And I think I have a video here. Yeah. What this is showing you how to insert a gallery. So you'll select your files. Yeah, open, and then it will upload all the files. Once you've uploaded all your files and click on Save All Changes, then it will give you the option to insert a gallery at the bottom. There it is. You just want to make sure that the image file is selected, and the rest of it doesn't matter. And this is what it looks like. It puts something that looks like this. But that's okay. When you update it and then save it and then view your post, you'll see this is what it creates. It creates the thumbnails for you. And then if you click on those, this is what the carousel looks like. So it fills up your whole screen, it makes it black, and you can actually change the color of that as well. But you can scroll through, and that's a pretty nice feature. You'd have to use a different plugin to have this happen before.
Is that doing that automatically?
It was a movie that I recorded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you
I wish it was that automatic.
It's like a slideshow.
Yeah, no, I did a recording of me actually doing it.
But you're clicking to change the pictures, to transition through the pictures?
Yes, you do click. You have arrows on both sides that you can click through.
Okay,
yeah, it's not automatic.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that your doggy?
Yes, that was my doggy. Also, another thing that I find really invaluable is the sharing toolbar. You can find a lot of social media plugins. I like this one because it has everything that I need, and you can customize the way that it looks. what it will do is add the social media icons to your posts or pages. And these are all the different services that it supports. And they just added Pinterest and Tumblr, Stumble Upon, and then I'll show you how you configure that. Oops. Oh, I think it was on the video that I made. Okay, another video. So this is a screen, this is under settings sharing. And what you do is you would just drag the different services that you want down to the enabled services. On the right side, anything there will be hidden behind an arrow. So you can see that on Twitter. This gives you a preview of what it looks like. You can select icon only, icon and text, text only, or official buttons was the other one. So that's actually showing you what it will look like. And you can change the sharing label or just delete it if you don't want it. And it does give you some options as to where you want to insert that. So now if I go to a post, you'll see that this is automatically inserted at the bottom. Right there. So it's pretty nice, and you can configure a little, you can rearrange the order, which is a lot better than a lot of social sharing plugins that you find today. Okay. There's also another application that they have is a spelling and grammar. I haven't used this too much because by default it's disabled for some reason. I'll show you how to enable it. But by default it's disabled. And you actually enable it under your user profile. So this can be set per user. And it uses after the deadline service, which is an open source service. So if you go under proofreading setting, this is under user profile. And it adds this section. So you can actually have it automatically proofread when it's first published, when the poster page is updated. And there's actually a few more options that allows you to check for too. You can check those off or leave them not checked, and it will check against those dictionaries. WordPress is something I haven't used, but what it is it's automatic solution to backup and security monitoring. And if you don't have backup and security monitoring, I highly suggest that you get some form of it. Theirs is pretty cheap for our basic one site. You can get it for $15, and that will back up your whole site. The $40 premium, that actually adds the ability to security scan. But you can find plugins as long as you have something on there. This is just automatic solution for it.
Is that $15 a month?
Yes. Yeah, it is $15 a month. So it depends on what kind of a site you have. And I don't think that they offer discounts for multiple sites. But if you don't have something, I suggest that you look for plugins that will do the same thing. They're really good. I mean, they make WordPress, so I would trust that if you don't have anything. And they also offer Enterprise for really huge sites for $350. And they will actually help with hacks, crashes, malware, restores, migrations, plugins, and permissions. They'll help with all of that if you buy their service. Another good one to use is Sucuri. SUCURI.net, and they're also a malware, so that's a really good one to check. If you have a virus on your site, I would check out them.
Say it again.
Sucuri, SUCURI.net.
It's $89 a year.
It is $89 a year per site. This is just what the pricing structure looks like for WordPress. It's just showing you the differences basically between, the only difference between this and the premium is the security scanning, which if you use WordFence, that's a really good plugin for security scanning that I highly recommend. Another application that they have is the Gravatar hover cards. So if you don't, who doesn't know what Gravatar is? No. Gravatars are actually something used by WordPress, and what it does is it remembers your email, and you can assign a picture to your email. So the little icons that show up in the user dashboard, next to your email, those are created through Gravatar. So you would go to Gravatar and you can hook up like all your social media networks, and it will specify an icon, and WordPress uses this in its user dashboard. So what this does is, in addition to having the little icon picture of your face, it will actually pop up like a little business card with more information on it. And I think I have, that's what it looks like actually. So you'll see this on the WordPress dashboard. That's because I have that picture associated with my email address. And then you can actually put like a little bio in here and a complete profile with all of your different social networks in there. So that's just kind of a nice little extra. Where this would show up is actually like if you made a comment on somebody's blog, so it's a good way to cross-promote if you're making relative comments on people's blogs. The next is the contact form, and this is a really simple contact form, and I like it because it's so simple. But if you're going to do anything more advanced, I would recommend that you go with Gravity Forms or Contact Form 7. What it does is, once enabled, it allows you to record all the submissions that are made through your contact form in the back of your WordPress dashboard. So there's actually a section called Feedbacks once you've enabled this, and you can see all of the submissions of your forms through that. And it will send you emails as well, like a normal contact form would. You have the ability to send emails to all admins or just individuals, and it's built in, it uses Akismet for spam filtering, so there's no need to add like a captcha or anything like that. As long as you have Akismet also enabled on your blog, then it will use that to filter out spammers. The one thing you need to know about the contact form is I think it's enabled by default. So if you install Jetpack and you have contact form 7, it will overwrite it and it will show this contact form instead, which you may or may not want that. So if that's the case, I just recommend not using this contact form along with contact form 7 because they seem to fight a little bit. Another little known feature of the Jetpack is the WP.me short links. And what this is if you've installed Jetpack, you'll see at the bottom, like at the top of your page where it has the permalink, there's edit view post, and now there's a new button called get short link. And that short link is just automatically created, and it's WP.me and then like slash and some numbers. And you can use that to share in social networks. There's also a really good list of shortcode embeds that automatically come with Jetpack. There's video, audio, images, documents, archives, Google Maps, and PoleDaddy that you can automatically insert with shortcodes. And I didn't put them all on here, the shortcodes, but I will make this presentation available. But if you go here to jetpack.me support shortcodes embeds, it will give you details of all the shortcodes that you can use and how you would use them, which is really handy. So it does SlideShare is one of them. It does a lot. It's just some of them you may not know are there, so it's really good. PoleDaddy is a good one as well. The beautiful math one this application was more of a mystery to me because I guess I'm not mathematical. But if you know latex markup language, you would use this syntax and it would make something crazy looking like that. I don't even know what that means, but it looks pretty impressive. Yeah, so it's good.
The Heisenberg, that's the linear Heisenberg equation.
Is it?
Are you certain about that?
Yeah.
Schrodinger's cat.
It's pronounced LaTeX.
Nice.
All the LaTeX books.
So yeah, this is if you really want to get high-tech geeky. There you go. The other thing that it adds is some extra sidebar widgets. One of the widgets that it added was the subscription widget, which I talked a little bit about earlier, where you can subscribe to someone's blog. But in addition to that, it adds an image widget, which is a little clunky to use because you can't upload right from there. That's my beef with it. You can't upload right from there. You actually have to paste in the URL of the image. But other than that, it works great. There's also a Twitter widget, an RSS link widget, which just like you can change the color and the size of this button and display that on your site. That's all it does. The RSS link widget. And all of these are available under Appearance Widgets. And I think I have some examples of what the widgets look like. There's the image widget. So there's where you would enter your URL. See, I think that they should make it easier and put an upload button right there, and this would be a perfect plugin. But otherwise, you can actually specify a link right here, the height, the image alignment, and the caption, and that will just show up on the left side of your blog, or the right side, depending on how you've configured it. Here's what the Twitter widget looks like. It does match the look of your theme, which is kind of good, but a lot of people like the other style that comes from Twitter. But this is kind of what it looks like. It just puts the FB, the link to your post here, or the link to your Twitter here, and then when the post was made. So that's kind of a neat little thing that they've added. And the only configuration that you need to do for this is put your Twitter username right here, and then it will just grab however many posts that you specify here. Enhanced distribution. There was very little documentation about this feature, but what it does is, what I understood is that there's a WordPress.com fire hose that actually includes like all of the blogs on WordPress.com, plus anybody who's using this, and it kind of goes out to different businesses that have subscribed to this. And so it's a faster way to get your content out there, basically. And the good thing about it is that the way that they direct traffic to you, it's without actually stealing your content. So they just refer the people to you. They have to go to your page to read your content. And it's not like it's duplicating your content somewhere else. So it's just something that's extra and free. I don't think you can disable this. This is just automatic. But it is, yeah?
I have a question. All these accessories and features that you're sharing with us, this is through Jetpack.
Yes.
But also, I think, doesn't WordPress also offer most of these?
You can search for them as individual plugins. The thing that's good about Jetpack is that it includes like everything all in one kind of package.
Okay, I got you.
And these are the things that are normally only available to the WordPress.com users.
But
But you can actually go through and find individual plugins for almost all of these features.
That's what I've done, because a lot of the ones that your Jetpack has, I've already installed them. And because I did install Jetpack, but I don't really use it that much.
Yeah,
So-
there may be some stuff that you're using behind the scenes that that you don't know of, or a lot of people find that it is too bulky, and you can disable or enable different sections of it. For a more seasoned developer, it might be overkill, or they might have different plugins that they prefer to use.
Gotcha. Under the appearance, the normal dashboard, you can, they have all kinds of graphic plugins and slideshow plugins.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
there's
Stuff like
hundreds
that.
of thousands of,
Right.
different plugins that you can do. But this is nice because it's supported by Automatic, so you have the benefit of thousands of people working on this, having it already being used on WordPress.com by millions of people.
Right.
So that's where the advantage is that these are tried and true. They're not like
Right.
flaky, and it's something that you can depend on and trust.
I wish
But
I
there's
would
not
have
gonna
knew
be
about this
weird code.
sooner.
Oh.
I wish I knew about this sooner.
Yeah, it's really good when you're starting out because it does give you such a powerful suite of applications in one plugin.
Right.
But does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Well, I do have these slides available on SlideShare, so you can get them there to get my links. And let me see how we are on time. It's now 7:35. What we'll do is we'll take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll have Lucy speak on gravity forms. Thanks.
Well, my site is webtrainingwheels.com, and I've been using WordPress since about 2004-ish for my own devices, and a few years ago started teaching other people how to use it, and so I work with a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs, teach them about WordPress and online marketing. So I actually gave this presentation a OC WordCamp, so if anyone was there, this is a redo. But so Gravity Forms it's a contact form plugin, but it's so much more. It does all kinds of things, a little piece of which I'm going to show you. So it is a premium plugin, which means it costs money, but it is definitely worth it if you're a developer or if you have clients for which you design or build sites. It's definitely worth it because it saves you so much time and you can do so many cool things with it really easily. So it kind of might look expensive to like buy a plugin, especially if you're just starting out. You feel like you don't want to pay for plugins really, but this one, it does end up being worth it just for the range of stuff that you can actually do with it. And it integrates with a lot of other services out there that you might use, like email marketing companies like Aweber and MailChimp and a bunch of others. It integrates with PayPal. So it has all these different things going on that you can connect it to. And it's become so popular that it has so it's a plugin itself, but it's become so popular that it has its own little ecosystem of plugins that have been developed for it. So you'll pay for Gravity Forms, but there's a bunch of other free plugins for Gravity Forms that kind of add on to the functionality even more. So there's a really strong community just around this one plugin. Some integrations that we mentioned. So I'm just going to basically actually demo some of these features because that's kind of easier than trying to explain it. So we'll start off with a contact form, but it's going to have a few extra features that you might not get from, say, Jetpack. So Jetpack contact form is probably really good if you're just, just have your personal blog and it's not really a business or anything like that. But Gravity Forms is really, I would say, more geared to if either you're a developer and you have clients or you have a business website that you want to do all kinds of cool things with. So just as a contact form, a basic contact form, you can do some extra things using Gravity Forms to kind of take it up a few notches. So I've installed Gravity Forms already, and so you get this Forms menu on the left, and if we just look, if I go to the add-ons section, you'll see some of the add-ons that you'll be able to activate. Actually, you do need to have, I think at the basic level of Gravity Forms, I'm not sure if you get all of the add-ons. I think you have to be at least at the mid-level to get some of these. But you can see, you can connect it with all these different other services. Authorize.net if you want to sell things using Gravity Form, Aweber, Campaign Monitor, FreshBooks. So there's a few different things that you can add on. So I've already activated, I think I activated PayPal and MailChimp for this demo. So let's just go ahead and make a new form. So it's pretty easy just to build your form. This is where you're going to create it. And on the right is all the different choices of fields that you can add to your form. So if we're going to do, let's say we're going to do a contact form. So I'm just going to choose from the right the pieces of the form that I want people to fill in. So I'm going to want them to give me their name. So there's a name field over here. I just click that. It's sort of like your widget screen a little bit, except maybe flipped. But so I click name, and now we've got, you can't really see all the outlines on this screen, but we've got a field for first name and last name. I'm going to ask them for their email address. So I'll click that. I get an email field. If I go into the detailed sections, I can check this to enable email confirmation. That'll make them type it in twice so that they don't make a typo in their email. what else will I want to ask them? Oh, what I like to do with Gravity Forms, Gravity Forms has this cool feature called conditional logic, which it can do really powerful things. This is going to be sort of a pretty basic example of it, but what it enables you to do is, so on my contact form, I'm going to ask this person, you know, how did you find my website? And I'm going to give them some choices. I'm going to say maybe, well, I'll just build it as we go here. So I'm going to want to add a drop down, because I'm going to give them some choices. So somewhere here is a box for drop down. And so now I can configure this. So the label is going to say, how did you find my site? And so the first choice will be, let's say, a referral. The second choice might be Google search. And the third choice might be some generic other thing. But the point of this is that when they make a choice, I then want to, depending on what choice that they make, I want to ask them a follow-up question that's going to change depending on which of these items they choose. This will make sense when you see it in action. So, and I could add more fields to my drop-down over here. I'm just using 3 for this. So let me see, how do I set this up? So I've got my initial fields. So now I'm going to set up a follow-up question for each choice, just by using a single line text box. So this is going to go along with the, if they choose referral, I'm going to ask them another question, which is going to be, you know, who referred you? And what I want to do, the magic happens under the Advanced tab here. And you see this box that says Enable Conditional Logic. So what this lets me do is say, okay, show this field if they selected, oh wait, hold on a second. Oh, show this field if under how did you find this site, their answer is referral. Then I'm going to add a new text line that corresponds with each of those choices. So my next one is going to be, I think Google search was the second. So what did you search for? And this is only going to show up if they chose Google search. And then finally, if they picked other, oh, I added 2 things here. Okay, let me get rid of that one. Okay. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Here we go. So, if they selected other, please specify. There we go. And again, I'll set that to be conditional so that it only shows up if that's the option that we picked. So that's one cool little thing that you can do. And once we actually put this on a page, you'll see how that actually kind of functions. But the other fun thing that you can do on your contact forms, if you want to get more signups to your email list, for example, you can, so I use MailChimp. So I like to put on my contact forms a little checkbox so that anyone who's contacting me, they can also opt into my MailChimp email list at the same time. So I've already enabled the MailChimp add-on, but what I have to do is just basically create the checkbox in the form. So over here we've got a checkbox option, so I'm going to add that. And I only need one option for this, because really the option is, do you want to subscribe? Would you like to be added to my mailing list. And so I'm just gonna have one option, and it'll be, you know, yes, please add me. I'll check it in here so that when it's on the site, it'll be pre-filled, but obviously they can turn it off. I'm not forcing anyone to sign up. And then finally, we'll put an actual box for them to write me a message. That's the whole point of this. So somewhere I have a paragraph box, and this will be where they'll enter. Oops. And then I'm gonna put a little captcha on here because I don't want any nasty spammers. So there's a capture field, and I'm using a plugin called Really Simple Capture, which is a separate plugin, but Gravity Forms, if you've got it installed, it will see that, and so it'll give you, you'll be able to, it'll pull it into the form for you, basically. So we'll just save that. And so we've got our form, so now we just need to put it into a page, and it's shortcode based, so it's gonna be in the little square brackets, but they add a little button for you to make it very easy. So I'll just make a new page, and I'll call it contact, and you'll see next to the add media button, you've got a new little button now, which is for the Gravity form. So I just click that, I select my form, and I don't need to show the title because my page is called contact. So we'll just put the form in. So you see it's in this square bracket. So that's just a short code for those that might be new. That means that it's not going to look like this on the website. This is going to get translated into the form. So you don't see the whole thing in your back end here. But when we publish it, then we will see. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the front end. So we've got all our fields, name, email. So then we have the drop down. So this is the conditional thing. So because the default is set to the first option, referral, we see the field that says who referred you. But when I change that to Google search, the next field below then changes to the specific question that I gave them for that. We've got the mailing list option. So there's, when you, let me just go back into the back end. To set this up with MailChimp or whichever email system that you use, you'll probably need to get an API key from like your MailChimp account, which will let them talk to each other. And then you'll configure your form back here, and what will happen is, because I've already set it up and it's already connected to my MailChimp account, my various email lists inside MailChimp show up here, so I can select, you know, which email list that these people are going to go into right away. And then we've got our message and our captcha, and that's it. One of the cool things that you can do with your contact forms, and this is particularly useful if you have a business or something where you might want different people to get the email depending on what they've submitted. So where I did the conditional logic for how did you find this site, you could set up those fields for something like which department do you want to contact, and it could be, you know, sales, tech support, general, and you can actually configure the notifications of the form because it'll send you an email when someone submits the form. If you use this routing option here, you can then change the email based on, the destination of that email notification based on a field that they've filled in. So, you know, if they've selected sales department, it's going to go to this person's email. If they select tech support, it's going to go to someone else's. So you can set up your form to route it differently. So again, that's more like a business-oriented feature that most personal bloggers kind of wouldn't necessarily need, but it can be really handy.
Did you say that this is all premium, yet you have to pay for this service?
You have to pay, yeah.
Okay.
So I have a developer license, so I can use it on unlimited sites. I forget what the other levels are, but there are different levels of. Once you've got it, you can have as many forms within your site as you want. But
Is that a per year, so it's $1.99 per year, or is it $1.99?
No, I just paid once, and I've had it for a while, and I've been getting updates, so I think it's just a one-time. And like I said, it saves so much time because I use it on almost all client sites, so they just get it as like a value add, basically. Because to actually code this kind of stuff would take a long time, so you can definitely save time. But so, like I said, it goes a lot beyond contact forms. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know how off the wall this is, but I wanted to make like a questionnaire. So let's say I had a 10-question questionnaire, multiple choice, or maybe just yes/no choices. Will it also calculate the answer so I could make a series?
I don't know if it does that, but I think there's another premium plugin comparable to this called Formidable, and I haven't used it extensively, but I want to say that will do more of that type of stuff.
Are you trying to calculate something?
Yeah.
Like what, like a number, or are you trying to come up with based on previous thing? Yeah.
Let's say I had 3 possible answers, low, medium, and high. Then I could write a paragraph about what their score means, and like Cosmo would do, or just something.
I mean, that even, yeah, I don't know if you could probably do that with some fancy programming with this. If for any developers that are here, Gravity Forms has a lot of what they call hooks and actions that you can do a lot of fancy stuff with, but right out of the box, I don't know if it does that.
You can do conditional logic on conditional logic. So you could say if this and this equals this, and then you could have a whole nother logic that says, okay, now that I know that this equals something, you can pretty much build like a choose your own adventure book by building.
Yeah, sure, that's a good example. But
yeah, I guess you could do it because they have a formula field. It would just be, it would blow my mind.
You would have to,
but
yeah,
you could probably
I'm trying to avoid that part.
Right.
Build a little mind map and then work on this.
Right.
Yeah. You'd get
What kind of markup does this spit out? Is it like nested table nightmare, or is
No,
it
it's not tables. It's all CSS.
label tags?
Yeah, it has label tags.
Input.
Yeah, all of that.
Isn't there HTML5 option in there?
I think there is an HTML5 option.
So theoretically, you could spit it out to create the logic, and then you could style it.
Oh yeah, you can. This is just the basic. You know, obviously this is the 2011 theme. This is just. Oops, there we go. Oh, here it is. This is just no style at all, just inbuilt styles. But yeah, you can style the whatever out of it and make it look really pretty. In fact, there is Gravity Forms has some inbuilt CSS styles. They're kind of hidden though, but there is a little plugin. I think I've added it, which makes it easier. So one of the big things that people want to do, and it's not so obvious on this form because it's fairly short, but generally speaking, everything gets spit out in like one column. But this little add-on, I think it's called CSS Ready Selectors or something. Let me go back to the form here. Maybe I can try it on this field. By going to the advanced, see right here, CSS class name. So you can assign your own classes. They have their own as well, and this little button comes from the plugin that I added, and it makes them more available to you. So if you want to do columns, for example, you can say, okay, this is the left half of the column. You just click that, and it assigns the CSS, and then you could go to the next field and assign that as the right column, and it'll do that for you. So there's some stuff built in, and then you can do whatever you want with CSS. So that's a kind of basic contact form, but there's a lot of other cool stuff that you can do with Gravity Forms, and I'm just going to plug this in because wait, it's heating up. Battery. Oh, will it plug in? It doesn't look like it.
Oh, that's okay. That might have been from my computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
thing that you can do with this is you can use it as a way to collect user-generated content from the front end of your site without people having to have a login to your site. So some examples I've seen of this are running contests, like I have some demos that I can show you in a minute, but for example, submit a photo contest, or submit your post and maybe we'll publish it if we like it. But so the advantage is that you can set it up, and I'll show you how, but that person doesn't need to have a login, but they can submit some content. It ends up in your back end, so it's already ready to go, you just have to approve it. And it's really easy to do. So this is a new form, so we'll call this, submit your news story. And what's cool is that over here on the right, you'll see there's a whole section called post fields that correlate to what you would see when you're actually making a post yourself. So you can add a field for title, for the body text, category, and you can make that so that they can choose a category, or you can have it default to a specific one. Yeah.
Does this show up as a page or a widget?
Both. You can put a gravity form in a page, or you can put it in a widget. It's got, I'll show you in a minute, but it's got its own widget, so
Interesting.
you can do whatever you want with it, basically.
So it can be its own page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the contact form I did was its
Own
contact page, rather. I just made the page and I put the form in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you could actually create a page if you wanted to have, you could have the gravity form on the right side if you wanted, and you can put a Google map. So if you wanted to use it for a form that had your address, a map, and a contact form,
yep,
you could just kind of like using the short code feature that you just said. You just,
exactly. Yeah, because it's a short code, you can mix and match it with any of your other content. Yeah.
Do you know? Are you familiar with a free version that's similar to this?
It does as much stuff as this does.
I would pay double. I'd pay $400 for this.
No, yeah, it's very.
I mean, there's Contact Form 7.
It's very impressive. That's why I was
Contact
asking.
Form 7 is so much work to
Right,
set up
that's
your
the
form.
thing. Like, you
really
can hack
does.
it and whatever to
You
make
can-
it do
yeah.
some of this, but it'll drive you nuts. And this is it just works.
It is a great plugin.
So let's see what else. Maybe we'll add an image. And we'll just leave it at that to be simple. So.
I noticed that you're not adding a submit or a reset button. So that
It adds its own submit, but you can edit that if you want to, like I'll show you. Let me just add this to a page. So submit your story, of course. Put my form in there. I'll publish that. And so if I fill this in, I'm not going to upload an image. And I didn't go through, obviously, all of the details on all the fields, but you can choose, if something's required or not, and things like that. So it adds this just standard submit button, but there is a way that you can customize that if you want an image or something fancier.
Quick question for you, on the image size?
Yes.
Or on the image, does it give you an option to limit the image size? So if somebody just doesn't snap.
Well, that's limited usually by your server and or WordPress settings in general. I don't know if there's a more specific, that might be using like one of their hooks or something. Out of the box, it's probably going to default to whatever you're able to upload to your media library anyway, I believe. Jason?
I know there's a hook that's for it, but.
Right, yeah, there's a way to program that in, I think, but just out of the box, it's going to be this.
I mean, are you worried more about the?
I want somebody taking, like a full res,
Right.
Or
Well,
40,
there is a
2800 by 2800 or something.
Yeah, there's a default setting in WordPress that you can tell it to only allow a certain size to be uploaded.
Oh, okay.
And then PHP has its own that will
do the same.
They'll overwrite
Yeah,
that.
so
as
there's
well.
ways to do it,
Okay.
yeah. So I just submitted my junk thing, and so you can see now it shows up in my back end as a post in draft. So all I have to do is go look at that and decide if I want to publish that to my site or not. And again, all of the stuff I'm showing you is like the super basic version. You can, you know, build on this. Even without doing any programming, you can still get more complex than this just using the inbuilt features. If you are a programmer, then you can do a whole other mess of stuff. So what was I gonna show you?
Reset button.
Something cool.
Something cool. I don't know. Yeah, if you wanted to customize the submit button, there's a setting for that somewhere. Here it is. So you can, the default, you can change the text on it, or you can swap it out for an image. You just upload the image to your media library and put in the link.
Can you set up a dynamic notification so that if somebody gives you your email and will actually send a note back that says thanks, we received it, so if you haven't heard from us,
Yep,
or
that's
whatever.
under the notification setting. So you'll get an email as the administrator, and then at the bottom here, you can set up notification to user.
Okay.
And you can customize that email as well. So I'm not gonna demo this necessarily, but you can also configure this to work with PayPal. So you can actually set up a form to sell something, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, it works better probably for simple products, but maybe selling, I don't know, like a PDF, or someone suggested you could use it to take donations to your site, but that's a really cool integration. Just a simple way to do just some basic e-commerce. And I want to just show you some demo sites that I found while I was researching this, of just some cool uses. Where is it? Here's my showcase. So, this guy actually did kind of a cool e-commerce site using Gravity Forms, once it loads up. And I'm not sure how much customization that he did, as far as programming wise. Well, let's wait for it to load up. But it's like a little clothing store or something, but this is all Gravity Forms. He's got different sizes here. It's pretty nice. Obviously the graphics are custom and all of that, but pretty much could be done with little programming to the actual Gravity Forms piece itself.
Did you say this is a one-time fee?
Yes.
I think there's some kind of an upgrade. A yearly upgrade.
Well, I don't know, because I've had it for a while and I've been getting the upgrades and I've only paid once. So I don't know. I don't, unless they've changed it.
It says for a year. The update's for a year. Now, I don't know if you can continue using it.
Well, usually,
After that,
yeah,
without
usually,
upgrading it anymore.
usually when plugins say that, like a lot of plugins will say you pay X amount and it's for a year's worth of updates and support. So that means that you'll be able to use the plugin after that year, but if they update it, you just won't get the benefit of that new feature. But if they've programmed it well, it should always stay compatible with WordPress. So you'll be able to use it at the level at which you bought it. Yeah, for Gravity Forms, I'm not sure if they've changed the structure, but I only paid once, and I've been getting
Because I
upgrades.
have it, and I remember getting updates, and it was a choice of, do I want to pay again, do I want to pay more to keep it going? And that's what I was curious, is if you don't do that, do you then, is your
No, you'd be
form
able,
then become, doesn't.
no,
work?
you'd be able to still use it. You just wouldn't get that new sparkling feature or whatever. Yeah. So this is all Gravity Forms. This is like a store. This is a cool one, which is you can submit a garage sale, and so they collect all your info, and then it ends up somewhere. There's a Google map that spits them all out. Yeah. I can't remember which cities actually have
That's a good idea.
sales on the map, but oh, this one doesn't. But basically, that you can submit your sale, put all the info in, and then based on the city, it's gonna spit out a Google map with the listings. Yeah.
I'm just curious, that site, is that owned by somebody or is that a private site?
This right here.
Yeah. Is that like owned by the register or something?
Oh, no, I think it's Lauren did this, I don't know.
That's
It's,
that's a great concept right there. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is. Some guys that are in a WordPress Facebook group that I'm in,
Yeah.
I asked for examples, and so they developed it. I don't know, for a client, I guess.
That's a great concept.
Yeah, right? Really great concept. So yeah, that one's really cool. Another guy showed me was the photo contest idea. I don't know how many screen grabs I have of this actually. Oh, well, actually, this reminds me. There's an add-on called User Registration add-on for Gravity Forms, and it lets you, like, if you do want to allow users to your site, but you want to tweak parts of the sign-up process, you want to ask for different information, or you just want to edit that process and not be stuck into the exact way WordPress makes you do it, that add-on will actually let you do that pretty easily. So instead of the standard registration form, you can add some more fields in there and do some other stuff. So that's another cool add-on. Let's see, what other cool examples do I have? Oh, the WP Beginner, which some of you might have come across it, but if you haven't, WP Beginner has a lot of resources on how to do stuff in WordPress. Oh, they took it off their site. They had a whole section where you could submit your WordPress site, and it was using a Gravity form, but I guess they took it off in the last 2 months. Let's see. Oh, it integrates also with WooCommerce, if anyone uses that for e-commerce. They work with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now my computer's being slow. So, any questions? No?
Lucy, what does it add on to your capabilities when using MailChimp for newsletters?
Well, it basically, I don't know a percentage, but I can tell you that almost everyone that contacts me through my website subscribes to my newsletter because of that simple checkbox. Very few, I don't know if it's because they're just not paying attention or what, but very few people uncheck that box. So if you want to increase your signups, that's what you need to do. Because, wherever you've got a contact form, basically, you want to give people an opportunity to sign up for your newsletter. They're already interested in, in my case, they're interested in my service already, so it makes sense that they would want to, get more WordPress, information. So, yeah, for me, it's increased signups, and they go right into MailChimp, so I don't have to do anything, You can also, I have it set up so that when they hit submit, it sends them to a thank you page that I've created, it says thank you for contacting me, blah, blah, blah. But that URL of that page, I then have in my Google Analytics as a goal so that I can track conversions better. Gravity Forms has its own, it will show you, like on this screen where it shows you your forms, it'll tell you how many times it's been viewed, how many entries, and that conversion rate. But once you get it over into Google Analytics, then you can see a lot more information, like where did those people come from that converted? What search terms did they use? What site did they come from? So that's another cool thing that I like to do with Gravity Forms that you could probably do that with other plugins, but it's just really easy to set up the URL with this. So
I use it with FreshBooks, and I have it so that when someone submits a job for me to work on, they automatically get added into my FreshBooks as a quote, and all I have to do is go into FreshBooks and type in a few little bits and hit submit, and then they get a quote.
That's awesome.
So for me, not having to type in a whole bunch of extra
Right.
junk, it essentially already has made me a quote now. All I have to do is hit send.
Yeah.
And they've actually put in all the line items that I'm going to be doing, because all of the fields that they're filling in is like, I want a website built, I need a logo, I need a this, I need a that, and all those have prices associated with them. And so I have a quote by the time they're done filling it all out.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else?
I don't know, maybe it's my computer, but I checked on 3 of my computers and your website when I went. All of my mailwares on my laptop was screened like crazy, so I checked 3 computers, just in case. But
My
on a,
website?
yeah, your website, anything else. But on a good,
Check that.
on a good note, one tip for your website is if you have a lot of people inputting, like contacting you, like inputting your contact form, one thing we did like back then was if you like any website that you wholeheartedly personally endorse, after the contact form, you take them to the site, you say, you highly recommend these 2 services or whatever, just pick 2 that you really like in terms of the web services, and you rank them and put stars and rating, you'll increase some money revenue.
Oh, like affiliate links?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That's an interesting idea. Think of that.
We did one website and we make a couple thousand a month.
All right.
Which one is good?
Very cool. Anything else? All right.
All right. Thank you.
Does anyone have any announcements? Any announcements? No? Okay, well, thank you for coming tonight. I hope you come next month. We're going to be talking about SEO next month. So that will be the theme for next month.
Our company, we've been doing web development since 96, 97. So we own a lot of big domain portfolios. So we have around 5,000. So our goal in 2 years to build out 5,000 websites. So if any of you are looking to do work or anything, that you specialize in the area, that you can build like websites fast, please give me your contact because we probably have your category in one of those domains somewhere. We're looking to launch. So.
Do you have a contact?
If you want to get my email, I can give you all my email. My name is Dylan Down. Dylan as D-I-L-L-O-N. D-I-L-L-O-N. Last name is Down, D-A-O, at yahoo.com. So, if you can email me like your specialty or a resume portfolio, let me know. And we're looking to just launch sites in 2 years.
All right, well, thank you everyone for coming. You're free to stay here for a few more minutes before we kick you all out. Eat the cookies and drink the water, please.